So, today we're diving into a subject that affects every business owner, whether you realize it or not. And we're going to be talking about your money script because this is basically a set of subconscious beliefs that you carry about money. And we all have them. And almost always, these are shaped around things like childhood experiences, and it influences absolutely everything in your business. And this impacts things like your pricing, to how you negotiate, to whether reinvest or maybe hoard your cash, whether it feels safe to hold on to money or safe to spend, or whether you have bad habits around spending money or saving money. So it's an important one to explore because every single person I meet has a script, but to varying degrees, whether there's positive and negative aspects to it. So if you've ever wondered, for instance, like why maybe it could be your revenue plateaus, or why you keep consistently undercharging or over delivering, even when you know you're worth it, then this episode 100% is for you, because we're going to be exploring things like uncovering your actual money script and understanding what yours is, because they're all different. And your money script is formed early on. And, even as early as the age of 7, we form our conditioning around what our belief system is on money. So, it could be that, let's say, for instance, you've grown up hearing things like a common one is money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, or it could be the opposite. We always find the money. Now, even if you, for instance, consciously think like you've moved on and, those early narratives are not impacting you because, they're not emotional triggers, they are. And the sooner we accept these, the better, because we'll get a grasp of what money is to us. And this helps us in our day to day lives and also, obviously, in business. Because an example would be like, let's say, if you saw money cause arguments, you might now avoid looking at your numbers. You might bury your head in the sand. And things like if you grew up with scarcity, you might sort of see that you really sort of cling on to cash and you resist sort of investing in things, even if things could be like multiplying your revenue and scaling and helping you towards a bigger goal. It could be that you have issues around spending or saving, and think back to what your conditioning was around money and what the stories were. Was money a positive thing? Was money something that was scarce? Was money something that was in abundance? What was your feeling around money? And I really want you to lean into what you think and you feel and you do with money. And just take a moment just to kind of like hold that thought or jot it down. Like, what do you feel about money? Is money a positive? Do you enjoy money? Do you like talking about money? Are you scared about talking about money? Do you feel money is a bad topic to talk about? And this is all about kind of the first step, because the first step is awareness and really tuning into what our script is. So write down like every aspect of what you remember or what you're hearing or what you observed when you were growing up. And then notice patterns that you might have, and think really like deeply about, are these patterns fear based or opportunity based, or do you have like a mixed feeling around money? And then part two of this is leaning into kind of recognizing what abundance is versus scarcity and scarcity patterns. Because once you know your script, you can start to spot and start to see how things play out, especially in your life and business. And you see these as signals, and you can start then to challenge if you need to, or mitigate or navigate past them. So, what we're trying to understand here is like, what do you really think about money? So, once you know your script, you start to understand, well, these are the things that I need to do. And because money means this is what I have to be consciously aware of. So, things like scarcity patterns, what I want to give you is an idea of like what you're looking out for, because If we've been living in our subconscious with our money script, it's something that is ingrained, it's something that we're not seeing or noticing every day. What we're trying to do is just kind of flag these to your reticular activating system to go, okay, this is something that I need to be aware of. Am I doing these things? So it could be underpricing your offers, or I mentioned before, a common one is over delivering to justify your fee. I see this so much in business. And the thing is that people often come at pricing where they're like, what will someone pay? Not what is the thing I'm giving them actually worth. So it could be down to things like you could be feeling guilty about charging more. You could have feelings about keeping your offers small to play safe. So keeping everything like a nominal pricing. Whereas when we lean into abundance patterns, the things that we're looking at here is it could be things like pricing for profit, not just survival. It could be investing in mentorship, systems, and visibility. It could be things like seeing money as a tool and not a trophy. So what we want to do is really kind of understand that the danger, the scarcity thinking, and the abundance thinking. What we're looking for is like scarcity thinking can feel kind of like responsible, like, oh well, I'm being proactive with my money. And you might think, well, I'm just being careful, but often what's happening is it's actually slowing your growth down. So our brain, our amygdala has kicked in, and our amygdala has gone, I'm not sure about this situation. So this feels a bit dangerous. So let's keep hold of this. Let's not spend. And what happens is that you could be missing out on really vital opportunities. So again, with the abundance, I want you to switch on and be aware of like, you know, how open you are to it and what abundance means and feels to you. So the last piece here is all about rewriting your money identity. And just like your own identity, we have to understand what money means to you. So truthfully, this is when the magic happens, when you intentionally start rewriting your money script. And this is basically it's a three-step process. I work with clients on this all of the time. It's a game changer because with money is confidence, money is certainty, money is power, money is a lot of things. But ultimately, if you're running a business, money shouldn't be a topic that we're ever frightened or fearful of talking about. Money is a good thing. And, money can have great uses and it can have great impact and great transformation. And it can do really good things in the world. So if you do have a perspective around money, try and rewrite the narrative and, write down all the good things and that money can bring. Now, money isn't always obviously, the end goal. There are far bigger things in our mission and vision above money, but it certainly plays an important part. Now, the first thing that I want to look at, step one, is the identity upgrade. And this is, for example, changing things like money is hard to make to money flows to me through value I create. So, writing down the scarcity statement and replacing it with abundance. The second one is around aligning your actions and really kind of leaning into your new money narrative. So, if you believe things like money flows through value, do things like raise your rates. It could be that you create a premium offer or start positioning yourself for like higher value clients. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do. And if you do think you're over delivering, set some new boundaries. So the third one is, again, as with everything, it's the reinforcement and daily reinforcement, being consistent around this new narrative. So this is where the neuroscience really kind of comes into play, because what you're doing is reconditioning your brain with repetition. And if you say it, write it, you're living it. And these three statements are very powerful because we lean into this. So remember, say it, write it, live it, and get clarity around it. and say it every day. So, when money is something that is seen as powerful in your life, and when money is, seen as something that can lead to bigger things that can aid in your higher mission and vision, we start to then be on the lookout for positive money opportunities. So when your money identity is rooted in things like abundance and self-worth, your strategy naturally sort of shifts. So you stop kind of leaning into things like discounting your expertise, or your business model becomes like scalable because you're not self-sabotaging the elements of it. You start to really think and feel, and your actions become different. Your do becomes different because you see a whole different world and a different perspective. Your lens has changed. And what we've done is we've focused in on the abundance, the manifesting and the attraction of wealth, and repositioning wealth as a positive in your mind. So here's the challenge, for instance, like this week or as soon as you finish the podcast, once you've uncovered what your original money script is, and we're spotting like maybe where scarcity is still running, and it's running the show ultimately. And then we start to lean into your new money identity. You'll start to see shifts. And these are things that, because we've just created this as a conscious conditioning process, doing these three practices, we're making a different view, a different belief system. And belief systems are very powerful because they sit in our core, and they're something that we refer to on a daily basis. Because scaling isn't just about, getting a better strategy. It's about upgrading the identity that executes it. And this is really where the power is going to be. Because if you want more money, you just need to rewrite the script. One thing that we probably didn't know before we consciously lent into this is what our actual money script was. I've worked with many clients who have scaled their businesses and even up to sort of 8, 9 figure businesses, and they still haven't lent into their money script. And even at that level of success, there are challenges around money. So whatever age, stage, part of your business journey that you're in, it doesn't matter. We have to understand where our money script is now. Because one thing that can happen is it can shift. And although we establish these beliefs in childhood, we'll reestablish some beliefs as we go on, and we'll inherit new ones. So even if we've fine-tuned it years ago or fine-tuned it this week, it is something that will need a constant addressing, where we start to think about, well, are we spending in the right way? Or are we attaching emotions around spending? Are we spending to make ourselves feel better? So one thing that I always encourage people to do in any activity is that when you spot patterns, just jot them down in your phone and just reflect on them. It could be like once a month, once a quarter, and just look at what patterns maybe have reformed or formed as a result of your new narrative. It could be that you've got an array of positive ones, but there is always opportunity there to attract negative patterns. And this could be something through losing a client, having a business trauma, anything like that can sort of really tilt where your perception is around money, and it can skew your feeling. So sometimes it just takes a little micro shift to get it back on track. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And again, I would love to know more about what you found out about your money patterns. If you'd like to know more and learn more, please comment the word audio, and I'll send you a copy of my 7-day audio activation series. These 7-day audios are really short, really bite-sized. You can literally put me in your pocket, take me anywhere and listen to them. But the whole series is about rewiring your brain and really reconditioning your thoughts about money, in particular around scaling and scaling your business to 100K months and beyond. What that means and what you think and what you're feeling and what you're doing around that. So again, please feel free to follow me on social media. Remember to comment the word audio and I'll send the activation straight to you.